Alex, happy Halloween.
Thank you.
How'd your Halloween go?
Pretty uneventful. I was working. It was the middle of the week this year, right? Yeah, I was just working, hanging out at this bar I used to own and run.
It's no fun when it's in the middle of the week, huh?
No.
Actually, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, it was Thursday. Yeah, well, I made an effort this year to get some candy to hand out to the neighborhood kids.
Cool.
Because I remember last year a couple kids had showed up. And so I was all ready, put the kid to bed and everything. He's too young to go trick-or-treating yet. But he had his own fun at daycare. He's fine. But yeah, I had some candy in a bag ready to go. And then only...
Cool. Wait, let me set the scene real quick. Okay.
Yes. Stormy downpour of San Jose, California. But yeah, ultimately only one kid showed up.
What? Greg?
One boy in a pretty scary skull mask, I gotta say.
Oh, cool.
Who
are you? Are you Skull Man from Mega Man 4?
It was a generic costume, yeah. It was a Skull Man in like a normal black, just sort of capey get up.
Okay. Skullomania? Was he Skullomania?
Yeah, no, Skullomania is delightful. This was a creepy skeleton demonic force, of which we cannot explain. But yeah, I peeked through the peephole and just checked who it was and go, oh God, Skull Man. And then, that also meant that he showed up on our doorbell camera. And so I was just nonchalantly checking our security app. And the first thing it shows is just a thumbnail of the kid staring into the doorbell like, oh.
Honey, were you expecting any skeletons tonight?
So I got 2 jolts from that little scamp.
Fun.
Anyway, yeah, it was just him. And of course his dad hanging back at the end of the driveway to make
Was his dad in normal clothing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think if dad was not in normal clothing, he probably would have joined him at the door, right? I mean, that's usually how it goes. You're either in costume with your kid at the door, or you're standing back in your sweater and jeans, making sure he doesn't screw up.
I mean, it's also possible that he might have been ashamed because he didn't marry a skeleton woman. So I think he's finding things out.
Alex, I'm not sure you know what Halloween is about.
What's up?
Trick or treating?
Oh!
Yeah.
All right. You want to go?
Well, anyway, as a consequence, of course, I got the rest of the candy to eat. So I just polished that off a couple days ago.
All right. What do you got in there? Like a Toblerone?
I got a special sort of skeleton-y Kit Kat in the sense that it was the white chocolate Kit Kats or whatever. And then, just your regular assortment of fun size stuff. Again, just testing the waters because I hadn't done any trick or treating, as the person giving out the treats in many, many years. And because I'm antisocial and hate neighbors. No, not really. But
you could share some of the candy with me.
Too late.
What?
Well, I'm happy to get you.
You ate it all, didn't you?
I'm happy.
You smoked it all, didn't you?
I'll pencil you in for next year. If it happens again, or how about this? I'll just reserve another bag of Halloween candy and ship it straight to Nagoya.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Like a Laffy Taffy?
I mean, you go to the grocery store and it's all these bags of assortments, right? You can't just you really just can't get one thing unless you.
I can't just buy 5 pounds of Rolos.
I don't think so.
I was already not planning to move back to America, but I think this clinches it.
Fine.
This is the thing.
Okay. Side note about trick or treating. My son hums a tune that I swear to God always sounds like trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. He just had started this. He's been doing this for a year plus, just humming sort of. And I'm like, well, you got to finish the rest of the song.
Yeah.
It's very cute, is what I'm saying. Anyway, but yeah, only one kid showed up. I expected more.
I likewise only had one person in costume show up at the bar.
All right, yeah.
And it was a semi-regular named Matthew. Yeah. A semi-regular named Matthew, a very nice guy who was had a very nice Waluigi outfit.
Okay.
And it gave me my only good line of the night, which is, "You certainly do exemplify the Japanese concept of wa."
Hi, everybody. It's No More Whoppers. What the fuck happened? I'm Ray Barnholt, innocent until proven goofy, and joining me as always, previously confirmed Goofy, Alex Fraioli. How you doing?
Yuck. How's it going? I mean, I know how it's going, but
let's see. Middle of November is how it's going.
That's right.
Yes.
Nothing special's going on. It's a little blustery out there. We got Thanksgiving coming up. That's all that comes to mind.
So let's start things on a high note. You closed your bar.
I did. It's all done. We had the final goodbye party Friday, Saturday. It was great. Just saw folks, said hi, said goodbye. That was that.
Yeah. So you did do a live stream, like we were saying.
I did, yes.
I like what you did. You kind of put it like, I assume, under the TV or around it. And so you got like that corner shot. Everybody sort of gathered around playing sometimes.
Yes, that was my buddy Paul's idea.
All right. Yeah, not bad.
He's a smart. He's what we call a smart.
All right.
Fuck! Hang on, I dropped a cap. And you can see it through the camera.
All right. Yeah, I can.
All right. Cool. Hey! That was manufactured. That wasn't me this time.
No, this was.
Stop it! Hang on, wait. I'm going to make you drop something. Shit. All right.
Oh, no, I'm so spooked.
Got him. How does
Watch me trick Fred.
Halloween? Watch me trick Fred with lightning. Yeah, they're eating it up. They love it. So the bar's gone.
Yeah.
I'm still renting out the space for the rest of the month because I need this time to clean it out. I've been going in every day for a little bit. I already, I cleaned and threw away the fryer.
Okay.
That's serious. Yeah. And I had to clean it because it was filled with oil, and I can't, oil is a burnable garbage once it's been coagulated, the fryer itself is not. So I had to do that, separate them, throw them out. I threw out 4 broken Super Famicoms. And dig this. All 4 of them were broken by people trying to eject a game when the power was on.
Yes, the classic thing you've mentioned before.
Yeah, and like leaning on them with all of their dumb weight after not realizing, hey, it's not coming out. Maybe you should fucking turn it off, lummox. Hi.
Listen, you would think I'd be good enough to know how to do that. I was playing with the Super Famicom here in my private domicile, and even I had the moment where I tried to yank the thing up without turning it off first.
Yeah, but after half a second, you realize, oh, right. And then you, of course, correct.
True. I am smart in that sense.
There's a bell curve where, like, we are kind of in the middle. And, like, I'd say anybody between, like, 30 and 50-ish knows how to eject a game from a Super Famicom. And the people who don't sometimes do have, like, they have a high enough intelligence to do a safety check where they're like, oh, I must be doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody else thinks, how come it doesn't work? And then they lean on it with their entire weight. And then I have to step in. I have to shout from across the bar, please don't do that. Turn it off first. Hey, fucking idiot. I never have to do that again. I'm very excited to never do that again.
Well, speaking of bell curve, clearly those people were graded on a curve, and that's how they made it to Japan.
Yes. I'm going to be uploading, I think, the VOD from the final night. There was a fun stream. Yeah, we were all gathered around to play Jackbox with our pal Rachel, who we zoomed in because she was a regular for many, many years. We wanted her to be there for the final hurrah. I also got a lot of podcast listeners in the past month who came in to sort of say their goodbyes. Jesse and Lonnie came back to visit. They were there, I think, the first month I was open.
Yeah.
Braden and his wife as well. They were also there the first month, and they came back 10 years later. They've got just the cutest dogs in the world that are constantly being posted on the social media. Zach, the littlest hobo, I believe, dropped in for another final visit. Played some Albert Odyssey on the Sega Saturn, a classic video game we all remember. And I got a visit from 3 dudes whose names I think were Ryan, James, and Edric. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Erdrick.
I've been trying. That's what I said. That's how I remembered that one. I'm pretty sure I remember the other ones. If I have not, please send me an angry message. Either way, nobody come to the bar anymore. It's done. No, wait. Jackie's coming tomorrow night. My pal, Enerjax, who drew art for the bar. Well, not for the bar, but I bought her art to put in the bar. She's in Japan for an art show, and she's coming to visit tomorrow night, and then we're going to go eat some chicken wings, and that's that.
Okay, yeah. But otherwise, you're just trying to pack it all up.
Yeah.
I assume that's kind of daunting, cleaning it all out and getting it all somewhat sorted and ready to sell what you can sell?
The only daunting tasks to me are dusting everything off, because I know there's a lot of stuff that's going to be very dusty. And also, I'm wary about putting everything into cardboard boxes and then leaving them there overnight to pick them up another day, because that basement can be, at times has been, riddled with cockroaches who famously love cardboard, and I don't want them getting in those boxes and then being taken into my own domicile.
Right.
So I'm probably just going to pack them up and then move them all on the same day.
It's the second use of the word domicile in this episode, folks, if you're keeping track.
What? Yeah, we got a count going in the lower corner there. We're going to see it ding every time it goes up.
The No More Whoppers Dama counter.
Well, no, that's something else. You're thinking of...
No, really. Our subathon. Wait a minute.
No! Oh, fun. We have fun here.
We do indeed.
Wednesday, Alex is jumping and about to crash. Could he be hooked on drugs?
No, I'm not on drugs. I don't do the drugs.
No, not anymore.
Not in Japan.
Only the legal drugs like Metamucil?
Adrenaline?
Well, I mentioned before
Ibuprofen?
about the normal medicine that is like packed full of other medicines. Back when I was on my trip, I was surprised by that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's closed. You are glad to not have to do all the stupid interactions to try and keep people in line.
I'm already feeling more relaxed now that I haven't been to work, quote unquote, work in a week.
Yeah, but certainly no tinge of remorse. I feel that maybe you and I are a bit similar in that we can fairly easily move forward.
Every once in a while, I feel like, I could have kept it going if I just hunkered down and did a little more XYZ. But then I'm like, no, that's why I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. Hunkering is for losers.
Except for Hunk from RE2. That's all he does.
But you call it hunkering, though? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's what we call it. I think it's just a fan. I think I've mentioned this before. There's a fan idea that Hunk stands for Human Unit Never Killed. And I really choose to believe that that's true.
No, thank you.
Mostly because it's, never mind.
It's stupid.
It is stupid, but I just like the idea of for sale, Human Unit Never Killed. Or on his grave, does it just say who?
Right.
Or Huok?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Hey. It's one of those dumb fan theories that I love. Anyway, hunkering down for the sake of the bar was just not tenable anymore. I don't want to take anxiety medication. I don't want to have to force myself to talk to people anymore. I want to stay home and I want to do things at my own pace. And starting now.
All right.
Now.
Can I have some of that anxiety medication?
Yeah, here I'll put it into the pneumatic tube we have connecting our offices.
Yes. If only.
You'll get it in about 3 days.
World's longest pneumatic tube connected to two dorks.
Yeah. Love it. There will be an interview video up either this month or next month. A local guy, David, is interviewing me about the entire bar process, like start to finish.
Interesting. Okay.
And I don't know when that's going to be up.
This is like a YouTube thing?
I think it's a YouTube thing, yeah. I don't know when it's going to be up, but please look forward to that.
All right.
No, it was supposed to happen yesterday, but I have a cold, so we're going to do it on Monday.
All right. Okay, good luck. Make us proud.
I'm trying, Dad. I've already uploaded the third episode of New Game Plus to the Patreon. I don't know when that's going to drop for Normos. Probably next month because I'm doing another charity stream soon.
And that it's also about the bar. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, that one gets much more into the alcoholism aspect of it. The David interview is everything. It kind of except that. It's mostly about like what's it like to run a business in Japan, how did I get started, why I get started, et cetera, et cetera.
It's the paperwork and the alcoholism.
Yes.
YouTube, just the alcoholism.
Japan loves both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge fans.
Good way to put it. Yeah.
It's very easy to become an alcoholic in Japan if you show up as an English teacher. And you're just like, whoa, that's my thing now. I'm an alcoholic.
It's
really fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun affectation when you're in your 20s. And then once you get into your 30s, you're like, oh, no, this is a problem now.
I know. I remember your past podcast.
That's right. Oh, God, yeah.
But now we are barless.
How are you?
I'm hanging in there. I'm doing some crunching on things. Otherwise, just
Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Pushing along, being a dad, that sort of thing.
Dad stuff, yeah.
Getting ready for the holidays. Mentally, in a mental way. Not necessarily in a physical decoration way, but yeah. Oh, wait, actually, as it turns out, I do have some news. After Christmas, we're going to Vietnam. Wrong music.
No, I think it was the right music.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So, we're going to go to Vietnam for 2 weeks.
Cool.
Which, of course, is where my wife is from. And so...
That's right.
By extension, my son is half from spiritually. So...
Right.
And her parents, who had been living here, had to go back there just yesterday to take care of some business. And so after that, after Christmas, we're going to join him there. And it'll be my first time going. So that should be pretty nifty, yeah. A good time to get away from America, as it would turn out. But yes. Now, much like our Japan trip, there is going to be someone who is going to tag along with the other spouse and let them do all the talking. Except this time it will be me letting my wife do all the talking.
Great. It's good that you each get a turn.
Yeah, exactly. It just happened this way. I guess, it's just one of those ideas that pop into my wife's head, first of all. So now I'm just getting prepared to go again to Vietnam, again with the child. So maybe a not such a cushy airplane seat this time. So another new challenge to deal with as far as traveling with him.
Any chance you could hop on over to Kyoto for that Nintendo museum?
Probably not.
Damn it.
But I think you and I discussed that because I'll only be like a couple of hours away from you time zone.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
We could do a phone call episode.
I would love to.
So I could call in and do that. We'll see. TBD. Yeah. TBD. Maybe it won't work out. Maybe Alex will have to get a ringer.
What?
But we'll see how the January recordings go. How about that? But yeah, I've been wanting to go. Ever since I met my wife, of course. And so, it should be pretty cool. I also kind of don't know what to expect, but I kind of do. I mean, I know it's supposed to be more humid. Yeah. That's basically it. And they also have 7-Elevens.
Good. All right.
But yeah, Vietnam isn't known for a lot of really good, like world famous attractions. There's not like a famous zoo necessarily.
Isn't that where Gordon Ramsay's from?
Gordon Ramsay's from?
No?
That's like
What's up?
He did go there once, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think he then retroactively was born there.
I must be thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I mean, Vietnam has its natural sights and everything, but I meant like, there's not like a famous zoo necessarily. There's no like famous theme park or something.
Yeah.
As opposed to even Nagoya, which has a zoo.
Yeah, we got the most handsome gorilla in the world here.
No big fancy science museum that I know of. Things of that nature. So we'll just once again, but it's my wife who is the one who knows everyone and what to do. So I'm just going to follow her lead.
All right. I'm recording this with a cold, so I'm realizing I can't really launch into any sentences that are more than, 30 to 40 words tops. So,
sounds great.
Please bear with me. Hit my limit.
And yet you wrote down FF14 here on the docket, so.
Yeah, that's going to be trouble.
You're not very concise with FF14, but we love you for it.
I'll try. Hang on. I'll try to do it in as few words as possible. I'm a good work guy. Started getting into FF14 mods. Something I typically avoided because I should be able to clear Savage content without using them, and I can, but oh gosh, it's just so much easier on my eyes if I use them.
All right, it's like UI mods? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's strictly UI stuff. I tried out a GCD mod called No Clippy, which is supposed to help with your rotations, but it didn't. It just seemed to introduce a lot of lag somehow, so I turned it off. Okay, but yeah, I primarily just use UI mods just to tell me exactly what a boss's location and angle of orientation is, and what I swapped out the default UI for some bars and meters that are a lot easier to read, and I have a lot more customization over. It's great.
Yeah. Cool. Is that it?
That's me. That's it. No, yeah, that's it. See, I got to keep it tight.
Yeah, because I know you've had your camera troubles, and I think we might mention that later on as well. But yeah, with your eyes and whatnot.
Yeah. Yes.
Your rods and cones are not playing nice.
No. Oh, man, they were going to show the rod.
So, yeah, I guess it's good if you have some assistance that way.
Yeah. My eyes still get fatigued by the end of the day, depending on how much screen time I've been doing. I'm trying to be better about it. But
trying to be good. Have you looked into it more at all? Is there like exercises you could do of some sort, or?
No, well, because I went to like 3 different doctors, and they're all just like, yeah, you're getting old and your eyes are tired. And I'm like, yeah, but are they supposed to be like pounding like this at the end of the day because I was looking at screens?
I've heard of like a concussion sort of treatment you can test on yourself. Like, if you put your finger a little bit in front of your face and try and move it back and forth and have your eyes sort of track your finger. Like,
who concussed? No, we concussed have not done.
Okay. It might be related in a sense because it's related to the eyes specifically, because it's like testing if one eye might be going in a different direction or might be a little lazy compared to how you were pre-concussion. Again, not that you're concussed, but it might be I feel like it might be an exercise, a good exercise for you as you cross your eyes to follow your finger.
I may have gotten concussed at some point.
You were dropped as a baby. We know that.
Yeah, well, technically I inflicted that on myself. I rolled off the table.
Well, okay. You fell as a baby.
Yes, thank you.
I thought you were also dropped. Okay. I guess I conflated it.
No, my parents were very responsible, except for the one time my mom turned her back and I rolled off a table.
Yeah. Okay. So just that.
This was in the days when you could go to a hospital and put a baby on a table that just didn't have guards all around it.
Yes. The carefree 80s.
Yes.
Mondale.
My first election. Do any of us?
Yes. Any of us, meaning the two of us?
Yeah.
Oh, where was I? Maybe I'm concussed.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Anyway, are we both concussed?
We wish your eyes luck as we do all eyes.
Thank you. As we do all orbs.
Well, so what I'm hearing is it's a great time to be Alex.
Yeah.
It's really good. And
yes. Bye.
Yeah, I'm just hanging in there. Like I said, I'm sort of crunching on this project. The international trip doesn't make it any easier to deal with, but hopefully I'll have something to show for it for all of you within a few months. Yeah.
Have you considered the Cacho did a Vietnam special, right? Did a trip. Have you considered tracking down those locations and filming yourself buying something from those stores? Maybe making a video out of that?
Well, there's 2 issues with that. One is that he only went to Hanoi, which is in the north.
Oh, shit.
My wife is from the capital, which is in the south. So I think we're just going to stay in the capital city.
Oh. We get to meet the capital city goofball.
I watched that episode, and all of the places he went to were pretty much just filthy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He went to this extremely rundown sort of tiny kids theme park, quote unquote, and it was just it's just a grungy mess. So I'm not sure that did a lot of good for Vietnam tourism, but
film your own travelogue in the capital city and see what video game stores you can find. I definitely know we have. I want to say this is very embarrassing. I want to say Singapore. We have a listener in Singapore, Boone, who's visited the bar 2 or 3 times over the past 10 years. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely, and I don't think English is his first. I mean, his English is fluent, but I don't think it's his first language. I think we have plenty of listeners who our ESL, so to speak, who just find our idiocy that entertaining that they'll just, I'll listen to these knuckle fucks. I don't care.
Weird.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, just interesting.
No, yeah. It's funny. I mean, that's kind of one of the things I like about podcasts is that anyone can do them. That's also one of the things I hate about podcasts, that anyone can do them.
Oh boy, yes, indeed. Especially once, the more egotistical people, ignorant types, start to figure out how to do it and get cameras and things.
Yeah, but what's fun about that though is that you see, and we've been seeing this happen since the late 2000s. But like, somebody starts a podcast and it goes for anywhere from 2 to 7 episodes before they realize, oh, this is like work. I have to put in effort to do this. And they just immediately drop it.
And yet there's the other group of people who don't realize that to themselves and just keep going and going with the same mediocre, terrible shit with other people who are as charismatic as a lemon and just like...
Well, name one. Let's call someone out. This will be fun.
I can't, because it was one that I told you about last time. The one I showed you the other day, related to our other thing that we're trying to do.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yeah. It is validating when you have an idea for a project, so you quickly search to see if anyone's done it before.
Yeah.
And you see, yes, but they completely fucked it up. So you're like, oh, I'm free to go.
Exactly.
I'm open to do this. Yeah.
That's why I brought it up.
Because I do that with a lot of my, I've talked about this before, but that's my YouTube approach is I get an idea for a video. I search to see if anyone's done it. If they haven't, great. If they have, I watch to see if it sucks. And 100% of the time, it does suck. So I'm like, oh, good. I can do my own take on this.
Yeah. You really, you were doing the right thing, which is living the philosophy of, I can do better than that.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to actually do it.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's how I get anything done is I can do. And I'm using that energy right now to try to write a visual novel because I've played a bunch of visual novels, some good, most bad. And my takeaway from the bad ones is I can do much better than this.
Yeah, exactly.
I also, while we're on the topic of YouTube stuff, my Battle of the Dens video came out last week, a couple weeks ago.
Video.
And it's my Scuden video, and it did not get the algorithm boost that my previous video did. And I think it's kind of stuck there at a dick amount of views. But thank you to everybody who watched it. Thank you to everybody who supported the Patreon for it. There's going to be more.
He can't be stopped. Please, someone stop him.
No, you just said I can't.
Please. Yeah, someone should just get like a really big steamroller. Maybe that'll stop you.
You mean like the end of Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
All right. Well, what if I'm a toon? Like Judge Doom?
What did they use? Like a suction?
Was that Christopher Lloyd?
Yes.
No, they dumped him in the dip, right?
Oh, that's right. The dip.
Yeah.
What was I thinking? I don't know. Who cares?
Was it acetone? Is that what it was?
Something like that, yeah.
Because cartoons are real in that world, right? You understand? I hate that every couple of months I have to explain the plot of Who Framed Roger Rabbit to you. Like, just absorb it the first time,
I get it now. It really happened. I know. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Oy. You also mentioned learning English from some people who might be listening to this show. Lots of valuable English that we do provide for our listeners, from all around the world, such as...
Hey, everyone, I love FF6! Yeah. If you want to watch me trick Fred for anything, all right. For if you're a deceptive type,
I don't like Italians.
Okay, now here's a good example of grammar you shouldn't be using. Brain good, brain healthy.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be to be fair, you were under duress.
We're gonna I was held hostage by my brain, as are we all. Every waking moment of our lives.
Good lesson here.
2 words. Stanley Tucci.
That's a good one. Self-introductions.
I'm Rebecca.
Yeah.
I'm a loaf. Okay, yeah, it's just, saying what you do if you're introducing yourself.
From more lovers.
Right, when you've had enough to eat, or maybe if you don't know how to answer a question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Expressing incredulity.
Paisley.
Yeah. And spicing things up in the bedroom.
Koopa straps Toad into a chair.
Yes! And then afterwards, you want to go out for something to eat.
I want a hot dog.
I'm dying for a piece of good old New York pizza.
And we don't just stop at English.
Gokutai Kudasai.
In Japan, they called it Famicom.
Drink.
We're just going to do this, huh?
Well, I'm done.
Almost.
Go! Wagon R!
Now I'm done.
All right. Very good. Yeah, that was perfect Japanese right there.
See.
We.
That's French. You can learn that too.
No, the Nintendo.
Oh.
They're making a new Nintendo. You hear this?
Oh, the Game Boy Light?
No, that thing sucked.
Oh.
No, the Nintendo Switches.
Yes. There's
I imagine they'll call it Switches like aliens.
I was thinking... Yeah, it's that apocryphal story of David Cameron. Is that his name? James Cameron. I'm thinking,
Jimmy C.
Jimmy C. The story of Jimmy C. walking into the executive boardroom and writing alien on the board and then writing an S and then making it a $sign and presumably to mass applause.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I like to imagine that someone at Nintendo just did that. They wrote Switch on a whiteboard and then just put a... Oh, shit, no. It would have to be a yen sign. So they wrote Switchy, and then they changed the Y to a yen symbol. And then everyone else is like, Nanda kore? So now it has to be called the Switchy.
No, that's pretty good.
Or Switch with a Y, just SWYTCH. How about that? How about that, bro?
My version of that bit was not as good.
What about, or Two-Witch? I still like Two-Witch. I'll buy a Two-Witch. No, wait, that's already, yeah, well, it's too easy to confuse with Twitch.
I was envisioning something like Game Boy Advance, which is really not like great English on its own. But then in the boardroom, they just write an S after the H. And they were like, no, that doesn't sound right.
Switch.
But then they go with it, and that's the worldwide brand name.
Oh, no.
Switches.
Did you ever also want to punch anybody who called it Game Boy Advanced?
Yeah, I still do.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Because people still do that.
Yeah, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the name of it or any of the games. Nothing is called Advanced.
But because Advance is not, a great English name for that, people's minds flip to what is correct.
I understand that, but
so
it's
it
like
is Nintendo's fault.
Yes, it was Nintendo's fault for a couple of months. But if somebody
okay.
If somebody now decided to keep calling it Virtual Fighter, even though virtue is not a word, it doesn't mean anything.
No.
But for the first couple of weeks, I was calling it Virtual Fighter because they must have misspelled it.
Well, still, they made their bed.
For real though, I think the worst possible name for a Switch successor would be the Wii W.
Yes.
Okay.
Pronounced Wii.
Yes.
Right?
Oh boy.
Yeah, pretty good.
We're doing this. We're on camera today, and it's funny to me that you said "right, pretty good," and immediately looked off screen like your manager in the wings is giving you a thumbs up.
You have no idea. I've done that plenty of times when we're not on camera.
Oh, good. Good.
I always do. Like anybody? No. Okay.
No. All right.
Yeah, I've whenever you've heard me do that on the show, I'm always looking back.
Good.
Yeah.
It's good to get into those habits.
It's a condition at this point, and I need a cure.
All right, hang on. I need water. I'll be right back.
All right.
Oh, fuck.
Yes, he does.
Well, before we head off for the break, we're coming off of a landmark election in your United States. And for folks who aren't caught up, we're not going to spoil it. We're not going to tell you who won. We're going to wait for you to watch the TiVo. I sent in my absentee ballot.
Right, because you had gone missing.
I saw my face on the milk cart, and I was like, oh, I got to contact somebody.
Yeah.
I sent in my absentee ballot, and then it arrived. By the way, I spent 3,900 yen to do so. Because, they send you, I registered with my county election office in Washington County, Pennsylvania, and they mailed me the ballot. And the ballot's free postage. You don't have to pay to send this if it's at an army base, because most of the people, I guess, who are absentee voting are just on bases.
Right.
But everyone else, I guess you gotta. And in my case, it was 3,900 yen to send it with tracking, because I don't want that thing getting lost.
No.
Anyway, I was impressed it got there in less than a week. I immediately got an email the next day your ballot's being contested by another elector. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? The next day.
Oh my God. Okay. Being contested by another electorate, you said?
Elector.
Uh-huh.
By which I think they mean just another voter.
Well, as one of the people in the electoral college.
Oh, was it? I don't know.
I think that's what elector means.
Okay. I don't know.
Yes.
But yeah, I got an email that's like, hey, your ballot's being contested. Then I got another vote a couple hours later from the UCLA saying, we heard about this situation. We're on it. We'll take this to court if we have to. Please mail your message because they're going to have a hearing tomorrow. Please email your board of elections with a message you want them to read during the hearing. So I did that. My message was basically, hey, if the federal government's going to make me file taxes abroad, you can count my fucking vote.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And then the next day, got an email from the county board of elections that was like, yeah, we had the hearing. The dude didn't even bother to show up, so all those charges were dropped and your vote was counted.
Holy shit.
Not that it matters.
Not that it mattered, but hey, at least the dipshit didn't show up.
Now, we're not going to, this is not a political show. We're not going to start, getting blue in the face, ranting and getting angry about political stuff. I only have one thing I have to get off my chest because it's been pissing me off since 2016, and it's in this very much the same way that conservatives have their own right-wing echo chamber. Like every time I go to my parents' house, it's Fox News, and there's absolutely no possible way to hear about anything from the other side of the political spectrum. I've come to realize in the past, 8 years that a lot of those exist for the left as well. And the one that recently kind of pissed me off was Reddit. Because like all of us, I think, I have Reddit on my telephone because sometimes I have questions about filing expat taxes in Japan. I have specific questions about what's a good resolution for XYZ. And if you have specific questions, Reddit is a great place to get answers. And in my idle moments, I will open up the app and I'll swipe over to the news panel because it is a good way to keep up with tech news at the very least. And I thought to keep up with American political news. And I was getting a false sense of reality from the Reddit. I think it's the politics subreddit. And I noticed that they were skewing like comically left to the point where I muted that entire subreddit because nothing substantial was being said. But on the news tab, it doesn't mute it even if you have it muted because it's news. It's politics is news. Therefore, we're going to show it to you. So I just kept seeing it even though I didn't want it there. And ever since like the election this cycle was the exact same as it was 8 years ago, where leading up to the election, every single post on the politics subreddit is Trump smells and is bad, and here's more people who hate him. And Hillary/Kamala is good. Here's more groups who love her. Here's more celebrities coming out to endorse her. And on election day, every other post from there is Kamala wins Virginia. Kamala wins North Carolina, or whatever states they've won.
Yeah.
And then like it's kind of funny watching all of those happen. And then 12 hours later, there's a post where they have to kind of grapple with reality that just says, there's a chance Trump may win the election. And then it's just immediately obvious. Oh, he was going to win all along. You've only been posting stuff that you think people on the left want to hear that's not indicative of reality. And the celebrity shit's not helping. There was a post on the politics subreddit that was like, Ron Perlman backs Kamala, and he says it's not even going to be close. It's going to be a landslide. That's not the message to be sending, Ron. I think Reddit has like lulled people on the left into such a false sense of victory that they don't even bother to fucking vote. I think that's what happened with Hillary, and I think that's a lot. Well, maybe not entirely what happened here, but I think that's a lot of what happened is people are stuck in their own fucking echo chambers and don't realize, no, jackass, you still have to vote. You still have to get out there and cast the right vote for the right person, because you can't just stay in and be like, well, we got it all sewn up, boys. No, you fucking don't.
Yeah, I'm sure that's some people for sure.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of shades of gray in between that and people who just like.
Yes. Let me be very clear. My outrage at this is the fact that I wasted 8 years of my time reading news from Reddit. That's my frustration. I didn't realize that the politics subreddit...
Well, not 8 straight years.
No, that's true. I didn't realize that the politics subreddit was only showing what it thinks folks on the left want to see and not actual objective reality. It's important to get your news from objective sources. They have to exist, right?
Yeah, but like that's not just Reddit either. It's
I know
everything now.
Yeah.
Because we all look at like 3 different apps and they all have their algorithm and they all push the same leaning shit to whoever wants to hear it. And it's not good for anybody.
No.
I get it. Yep.
Like even, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that NPR was supposed to be pretty non-biased, but it's even getting tricky sometimes to get a straight story out of NPR. I guess, I don't know. If anybody has any news recommendations for just actual objective sources, I need something to keep me grounded and not in fantasy land thinking that every, Democratic candidate is unstoppable and will win until, they sure don't.
Yeah, well, there's always going to be
dozens upon dozens of headlines from the past that you just put out. Trump's done. This is the one. This is the thing that's going to do him in, everybody. We finally got it. And then they all just amount to absolutely nothing. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, you always got to be careful because it's always like some degree of bias in everything. Like
yes.
I could give you a more objective news source, but it might still be too leftist leaning, where it's like everybody sucks except us.
Yeah, it's
all about balance, I suppose.
It
you
is.
really have to just you got to end up using your head.
You're right. You
actually got to think.
You nailed it there with that word, balance. Why can't I find a news network that's fair and balanced?
Exactly.
Where are they?
I swear we had one.
I thought we did.
I swear we had one in this 24-hour cable channel list here.
I call it faux news. What do you think of that?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can you please calm down? My funny bone can't take
that is the most frustrating thing about, obviously I love my parents to death, but the most frustrating thing about calling my mom once a month is we'll have a very pleasant conversation for 98% of the call, and then she brings out whatever that week's Fox News talking point is, and I just have to very politely be like, yep, sure thing,
but
Mom.
Why?
I don't know. It's
my mom doesn't do that
because you can't. I don't know. There's a point where like reasoning just doesn't work anymore, so you just kind of have to wait it out. Like, Alex, that caravan's coming up from South America. It's going to be here any day now, and then it's going to cause trouble. Like, are you sure though? Did that happen?
Yeah.
And every month I talk to my mom. I love her to death, but I have to put up with at least one of those, and I cannot bring her back to objective reality. I've tried to do it. I've given up on doing it because it doesn't matter. Like, they're just going to watch Fox News every day and believe what they want to believe.
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing that pisses me off, and it has a lot to do with this election as well, but I think that, like, obviously there's a lot of very hateful people who vote for these ass clowns. But I think the reality of it is that most Republicans are just one-issue voters, and it's who's going to keep my taxes down. And even if it's not your guy, he still convinced you that he is, and so you vote for him anyway. That's all it comes down to, is who's going to save me money. Like, most people do not give a shit about any other issues but that.
No, that's precisely what happened.
Yeah. Okay. We're not talking about this anymore, unless you have something.
No, but maybe on the subject of parents, like, not that my mom and I differ politically all that much, but this morning at breakfast, she was on her phone and started playing a clip from Colbert, and I was just like, no, I don't want to hear it.
Oh,
just,
boy.
No.
Yeah.
I just had to be like trying to drown it out until she gave it up. Like, no, I don't want to hear that either.
Yeah, I'm also in a state now where, like, I don't necessarily want to hear it from my own side either. I just kind of don't want to think about this for a while. And it's been bugging me, the kind of like, what's the term I'm looking for? The smugness, I guess. Like, it's been bugging me since I was in college. I remember in 2005 or 6, kind of right. I guess this is right in the middle of Bush's second term. And obviously the Daily Show is very left leaning, and I know that going in. I just watch it because it's funny. But like, Jon Stewart would say he would have some cutting remark about Bush, and then the show would stop. The show would pause so that the audience can cheer and hoot and holler for 30 to 40 seconds. And I would then, it happened at least once every episode where he would say something and then just, we have to pause so everyone can applaud this, and for an uncomfortably long time. And so I started mockingly doing it to the TV. I started just and doing that, and then my girlfriend at the time, who was living with me, would turn to me and be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, they already agree with him. It was a good joke, but like, the longer you drag it out, the more you draw it. I don't know. It just made me very uncomfortable. It's unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, then John Oliver took all of that and drove it even further.
Yes,
into the ground
John Oliver is kind of the evolution of that.
He speaks.
Yeah.
De-evolution.
It sucks because like I agree with those guys.
Absolutely.
I agree with them 100%, but like the more you stop for the adulation, the more it discredits what you're saying. Like I already agree with you. Keep making good points. Don't sit on them and then stare at the camera like that was good, wasn't it? It's so smug. I fucking hate it. And like, it's not like they don't have control over the audience. Like they could stop them from going on that long, but they just let them fucking go. I'm yelling at nobody right now. This is not even an issue. I'm sorry.
I think we're done talking about it.
This is just me being Alex. I'm sorry.
Alex is Alex. We're not going to change him, that's for sure.
Weeknights on NBC, yes.
Doesn't matter how many times you vote him out.
Doesn't matter how many fish sandwiches you eat.
Let's take a break.
Yes, please.
Let's talk about things that are fun.
Yes. We have fun talk, I promise. I promise.
Is that maybe? Let me check the docket. Yeah, okay, some things are fun.
Some things are fun.
Yeah, okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. We'll be back after this. Folks, we're back. It's No More Whoppers. I'm Ray. That's Alex.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Are you okay? You have to cough yet?
I will. It's
right. It's ticking down.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the life cycle of a cold, but I've gone from sneezing to runny nose to stuffy nose to coughing. The sneezing, the nose stuff is fine. Now it's just coughing and chest congestion. And are we coming up on the end? I'm hoping this is the end. It's been a while since I had a cold.
You're listing everything that's on the NyQuil label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you saying I should get NyQuil?
Something like that. Maybe.
It's a good idea.
A swig of that.
Yeah. I mean, we have a box full of various medicines. I just I reach in there, I take a couple of whatever's on top.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
My cramps are gone.
Off the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
My cramps and acne are gone.
Yes.
Slightly, ever so slightly related to what we just talked about. I want to say that I've been rebuilding my Plex server.
Oh.
With all the colors of the rainbow as far as entertainment goes. And some of that included me watching every single George Carlin comedy special.
Wow.
All 13 of them. Now,
oh, God.
A few of those are familiar to me because I started getting into George Carlin when I was like 14 or 15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I really only had a concept, though, of like his 1996 special and then the two after that. So in terms of like what I'd actually absorbed, it was only like 3 specials. And I caught some of the later ones. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, I saw all of them. The entire breadth of his career. It was also related to me also getting the documentary series George Carlin's American Dream, which was done a couple years ago. Judd Apatow produced it and it was like a whole history of his career and everything and all of his family and fans, within the business talking about it in interviews and things. So it was very enlightening, pretty good. I'd say check that out. It's like a 2-part documentary series, and each one is like 2 hours. So it's 4 hours of the history of George Carlin.
It's a lot.
Go for that.
Now, my take on George Carlin has always been, I know he's a very well-renowned comedian. He's always seemed way too rehearsed for my taste. I do not like it when comedy comes off as even a little bit rehearsed. I like things to seem like they're natural. And everything he does seems very, like, especially when he does fast-paced stuff, it's like, oh, you practiced this in the mirror hundreds of times, and you're doing it well, and I can tell you've practiced it, but I don't like things that are this practiced. Is all of his stuff like that? Because you watched 13 of these things.
Yeah, he definitely settled into a group. His first one's like from the 70s, when he was really coming up in the 70s, and really just focusing on like language and wordplay stuff.
Yeah. Because I remember the 7 words you can't say on TV. That's the one to me that seems very rehearsed. And like, I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but you know what I'm saying?
No,
over-rehearsed.
But his early specials are not that great as far as like his confidence and what you called over-rehearsedness.
Was that also the style at the time?
No, I don't think so necessarily.
All right.
He was a guy transitioning out of being like this slicked hair sort of
hippy dippy weatherman
60s comedian, into the long hair.
Yeah.
And he was in his earlier mid 30s back then too at the start of all that. So not all that practiced, but yes, you're right in that he really focused on his writing, and he also always said that he wasn't trying to be like other comedians. He wasn't hanging around in clubs all the time. He was doing his own thing and writing those specials and getting all that stuff down pat. And I could see why maybe that wouldn't appeal to some people who want a more looser, maybe more raw form of comedy. But
yeah, I think you nailed it. It's his writing. Like, his writing is very strong, and I think if you were to sit him down and introduce him to Word and how to set things in italics, and you could recreate all of his material pretty flawlessly in book form. I'm not a fan of his delivery, but
books.
Oh, does? Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's. I think more so than his delivery, I think his writing is very strong.
So it was really just an opportunity for me to look at some of the earlier specials and sort of catch up on all that stuff. So I don't have a whole lot to say observationally, all pretty good. But based on what we were just talking about, boy, I really gained a new appreciation for one of his bit in his 96 show, which is just like talking about why he doesn't vote and why it's all just kind of a bunch of bullshit. And that spoke to me as an apathetic kid and somewhat still apathetic adult, even though I've done my voting to try and stem the tide of some bullshit. But
okay, because I'm curious about what his take on that was, because I was kind of taken aback by this recent wave of apathy. Because I mentioned to someone that I was voting for Kamala, and the response was, why vote at all? And like, well, because both choices aren't great, but one's way worse than the other. So like, why would I not use this meager power that I do have to try to steer the mob in a wise direction?
Yeah, I could say that's kind of what I feel, or a little bit like that. But anyway, just listening to that stuff from him.
What was his take on it?
Well, where do people think these politicians come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. They come from American parents and American families, American homes, American schools, American churches, American businesses, and American universities, and they're elected by American citizens. This is the best we can do, folks. This is what we have to offer. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out.
Well, Alex, I'm not sure if I can explain or even recite the bit to you.
Are you worried about saying the dirty words?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Okay.
You know me. I don't say HE double hockey sticks too much.
There you go.
So
Right. You. I changed since the bar closed. I changed its location on X to HPhil.
Fantastic.
Great. Here to help.
Pretty good. But I was really wanted to check out the later specials, because again, I only seen the 3 in like the middle-ish. So the last 3, when he got old and what people would call really dark. So like his last 3 specials were kind of dark, but really it was only the second to last one that got really kind of depressing and a bit too repetitive for his own good, and sort of talking about how things are how dire things are, and how much he would love to see the cable channel of people killing themselves 24/7, that sort of stuff. And some of that he'd been repeating for a couple of different specials already. That one was maybe the dark one where people sort of fell off. But his actual final special was kind of an upswing and a bit better. Still some of the same content, but not as dark, I suppose. So I was really surprised by that in a pleasant way, and so I like that. So he went out on a better note, I suppose, than what people sort of felt like. Because I remember listening to Never Not Funny, and people like Matt Belknap sort of feeling like, oh man, he really kind of lost it at the end there. And I can say now I don't really agree.
Okay.
He just had like this one special that was a bit too off, and I could see why it wouldn't appeal to a lot of people.
I think if you're prolific enough to make 13 specials, you're allowed to have one that's off.
Yeah.
Oh,
and also on the subject of like over rehearsedness, like some of those HBO specials were live, like broadcast live.
Yeah.
So I could see the need to want to really get it down pat.
Yes.
If you are a paying sense. HBO customer tuning in for the first live broadcast.
Because I recently watched every John Mulaney special on Netflix, and I think, and this is common, but at least one of them he mentions that it's two different performances spliced together.
Yeah, that's a lot of specials though.
Yeah. I think that's common.
2 nights, yeah. But not George. George is a bit different.
Yes.
Well, he'll do the comedian thing of like touring and hone his material. That's how I saw him in my hometown. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I saw George Carlin with my mom when I was 14 at the Mount Baker Theater in Bellingham. And,
wow.
That was awesome.
Wow.
I don't remember much of the act, but yeah.
My buddy Brad saw Dave Attell came to our college, and this was like at the height of Insomniac in the early 2000s. And I was out for some reason. I was visiting my parents or doing something else, and I was not on campus to see Dave Attell. And I saw Margaret Cho when she came to Ohio University, which was not quite the same. I wasn't as hyped.
No.
I was just friends with a girl who wanted to see Margaret Cho, and I was like, oh yeah, that was fun.
Sure.
I can't relate to all the Asian family stuff, but everything else is pretty good.
I couldn't back then. I sure can now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now some of that stuff is a lot more relatable.
Yeah. I was just thinking of you like trying to go to the David Tell show. Like, I'll go a little later. How could you have missed that? Oh.
I don't know. I had plans. I didn't know he was going to be there.
Poor Alex. You should have had Smooth. Was it Smooth or Brad? I forgot.
Brad.
Okay, sorry. One or the other. One of those mooks. Should have had him bootleg it for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in 2001, it would have been a little trickier.
Oh, you just get one of those mini tape recorders and it'd be fine.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Okay, whatever.
I did also watch David Tell's recent Netflix special because I think you said you enjoyed it. So I watched that one. So it was pretty good.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah, I just remember that one opening joke of his.
I was just in Washington, D.C., and I got to tell you, it is so much different from when I stormed it.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who, like, just like Patrick Stewart, he's looked the same age for the past 40 years, and now he looks 100.
Right.
He just all of a sudden, like, oh, you're very old now.
Carlin was kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, he sort of had the same outfit and hairstyle for most of the 90s. And then it's like the mid 2000s and he suddenly gets puffier. Because, like, he turned that real senior citizen corner there. And
man, you know what I'm looking forward to, though? I'm hoping that once I'm a senior citizen, I'm in good enough shape where my doctor's like, well, at your age, you need more sodium. So I have an excuse to eat garbage fast food every day until I die.
Maybe. We'll see how that goes.
That's the dream.
He also had a lot of work done on his heart, especially toward the end there. So
implants, yeah. The whole nine.
Yeah, basically.
Nanomachines.
I'm sure that did some work on his overall appearance. But yeah, I think if someone felt like George Carlin kind of fell off toward the end there, I'd say the last special is pretty good and not as completely depressing as the previous one. And the rest all pretty good. You can definitely see him transition out of that sort of 70s guy with the 7 dirty words and really, work more on his views on things and, in a funny way. And also really that documentary series is pretty good. And that's really what helps me describe all this is because, that they go through all that and they show a lot of like his notes as well. There's a lot of really creative visual work, like showing excerpts of his like actual notes and stuff.
Oh,
so, yeah.
I'm a big note taker myself. I look forward to seeing them in a documentary in 30 to 50 years.
Yeah. Seinfeld shows up in it, has some commentary.
Oh, fun.
Says a stupid thing I didn't agree with.
Well, that's kind of Seinfeld's deal now. Yeah. Well, what did he say?
Fine. You want the comedian to be your lens on society? Go enjoy it. But for me, I never heard a comic bit that changed my opinion on anything.
Oh, man, I used to have a Seinfeld. I used to have that drop of him on Leno saying, all my pretentious show business friends have the iPhone.
Yes, of course.
What an in-touch guy.
Yeah, that's pretty much him. But anyway, as a longtime fan of at least 3 of his specials, I was very happy to go back and, complete the set.
Fun.
And, yeah, not bad. It definitely had me thinking about some recent things more often. So,
all right.
I would definitely check out that documentary to anyone. It was on HBO Max, I think. But it's on my Plex server now.
Oh, that means I can watch it.
Yeah.
Plex is a very satisfying word to say. I really enjoy it.
Okay, good. Thank God you like a word for once. Jeez. It's
Plex.
like every time I say something or some turn of phrase, you're always like, I don't like that. What does that mean? Why can't you say it like this?
Oh yeah, I did notice that you do have a different pronunciation when it comes to ing. Because somebody mentioned the only reason I know this is because somebody mentioned it on a podcast. How I don't know if it's a West Coast thing, but you'll pronounce ing at the end of a word as if it's EEN, like running becomes running. You know what I mean? Say, give me a word. Give me a progressive verb. Give me anything.
Okay, running. That's how I normally say it.
Oh.
If I'm saying it heightened in a discussion on a podcast, maybe I would say, that man was running.
Even there?
Maybe
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like walking. Like walking. For a while, for so long, I thought the actor was Walking Phoenix because you kept pronouncing it in a different way.
Right. I can't shut up about him.
Exactly. You love him. Like you watch Gladiator every morning.
Exactly.
And then followed by Signs.
Love that Caesar.
Yeah. He played the lion.
Okay. What did he play? Magnanimous? No,
Magneto.
Okay. All right. Are you going to go see Gladiator 2?
No! Why would I do such a thing?
Well, I'll pay for the ticket.
I'm in. And then we're going to talk about it afterwards, right?
Yeah, it'll be like our own half in the bag.
All right, sure. It's got Glad right in the title. I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
Right?
Yeah.
It's Ma, which is good.
And then Ada, which is also good. Glad I ate her.
That made me laugh because that is just as stupid as the original reference.
Yeah. That's a Seinfeld gag that even as a kid,
one of our favorite ones to hate. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I wasn't sure. There's like 3 different ways it could possibly try to be funny, but none of them are funny. And I'm like, I don't know which one you're going for, but you're failing at all of them.
Good old late episodes of Seinfeld.
Yeah. It's Ma, which is good, and newer, which is also good. I never thought about that. You know what? The word newer is good. It really is good. Ma, everyone has a great relationship with their mother, George.
I guess, yeah. Especially George.
Yeah.
Like, what? I guess there's only so many ways you can write that character.
It's Ma, which is good. What the fuck are you talking about? And newer, which is... Shut the fuck up! Are you speaking the English language, George Costanza?
Alex, I think you're actually speaking to the writer's room in that one.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Not so much
I'm not mad at Jason Alexander. It's not his fault, I don't think.
I also downloaded every Duckman.
Oh, good.
That's on my Plex. You're invited to use that whenever.
Maybe I will.
You're invited on it.
Yes.
And we have material for a project on it.
Yes, I know. The Duckman Project, I know.
Yes, our Duckman rewatch.
It's called Duckmania. Yes, we're doing it.
Maybe we should do that as a warm-up.
Isn't all of Duckman also just on YouTube?
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I got that archival mind. I like to keep it.
Same as Dave Foley movie, The Wrong Guy. That's also on YouTube in its entirety. And Dave Foley himself commented on it just to say, hey, I remember making this. It was fun. It's a fun little goofy movie.
Yeah.
Go watch The Wrong Guy on YouTube right now.
Maybe I will. Oh, well, there's there's season 1 and 2 of Duckman in one video. So that's 8 hours. That's great. Thanks.
Let's do it.
I'll do that right there. People, can we just split things into playlists?
So when nutritionists or doctors tell you should be getting 8 hours of sleep a night, what they should be saying is you should get one Duckman, the complete series of sleep a night.
It was just seasons 1 and 2, but yeah.
How many seasons are there?
4, was it?
Fine. You should get Duckman seasons 1 and 2 of sleep a night.
Yeah. Well,
good.
There you go. Yeah. 4 seasons.
Right. So you could, in casual conversation, you could be like, I got to go. I got to get my Duckman. I got work
for some
tomorrow.
reasons I have not researched yet. Season 2 is only 9 episodes and the rest are like double digit.
Things were not looking good during season 2, I guess.
Yeah, I know. We're not Bob and Henry. We don't need to go into this too much.
We don't need to go into it.
All right. Well, other bits of entertainment. Let's talk about some gaming. Gamings, huh? Gamings.
There you did it. You said it.
I'm doing it again.
Gaming.
Gaming.
Instead of gaming. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's a difference that my brain picked up on, which is all my brain can do.
Right. Well, I'm cautious because 80% of the time it's something your brain picks up on and you don't like it.
Shut up. I don't like the way you said that.
Aw.
That was fine.
I love you.
What'd you play, like a Space Invader?
I've almost finished the Silent Hill 2 remake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, one of those games my wife wanted to see. Okay. It's a good video game. Now, look, I have actually played Silent Hill 2 all the way through before, the original version.
Good.
I had Restless Dreams on Xbox.
Oh.
Which, as I understand, is maybe the definitive version.
That's why I tried to track down, and I eventually did, a greatest hits version of the game on PS2, because that's the only way to play Restless Dreams on the PS2.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, so maybe it doesn't matter. But I guess in terms of like graphical fidelity, people liked the Xbox version overall. But I basically don't remember any of it. What happened, what I did,
remember
what I felt.
Most of it. I have a memory like a rusty steel trap.
Yeah, I was a latecomer. This was also like the Platinum Hits version, so this was 2004 or 5 or something when I decided I wanted to play Silent Hill 2 and 3. So I didn't come away changed like some people had with those series of games. It was just like, oh, all right, yeah, cool, Silent Hill. There we go. Just something I could join in on appreciating with other people, but I don't remember anything of it. So revisiting it, the remake, yeah, like I said, it's a video game. It's generally well produced. I will say though, because it's not made by a Japanese team, there is a certain feel to it, or a certain response to the aesthetic that I don't have with the original one. And I cannot articulate it, and I probably never will, because that's one of my failings. I love aesthetics, but I'm very bad at articulating and describing them.
I think I know where you're coming from. It's kind of how I feel. I mean, this doesn't have to do with Western versus Japanese development.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with like the camera or the fact that, it resembles the Resident Evil 4 remake or something like that. Like, it has nothing to do with like the camera view or any of that. It's just more like something about the presentation where it just doesn't feel quite as deep.
Sloppy?
The aesthetic. Yeah. Sloppy. Yeah. No.
Sloppy steaks?
It doesn't feel the same audio visually.
Yeah.
As the Japanese version does. And of course you say, well, yeah, of course not. It's a remake.
Well, yeah, of course not. It's a remake.
If it was touched by like
an angel,
more purely Japanese team out of Konami, I think it would have been feeling more like the original in some way. And again, I can't articulate it any more than that.
Didn't
you were saying,
didn't the original director oversee the remake?
Well, yeah, but you got to wonder, he's not exactly in the office every day.
No, yeah, he's not like in the trenches. He's just kind of like, it's still a pyramid. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, exactly. I will say, they did accomplish recreating all of that stuff pretty well, and they definitely seem to have got it. And good for them, because there was a lot of early criticism when it first was revealed, mostly because of the developer, Bluebird team.
Yeah.
Polish developers who had made really weak horror games to begin with up until this point.
And that's a name, by the way, that when the game came out and people started saying things like, oh, Bluebird did okay, I was like, oh, that's a cute pet name. What's the actual name of the developer? And I thought it was it's something they don't want to say because they'll get found by chuds. I thought it was when people say Goober Grape instead of Gamergate. I'm like, oh, they have to censor because trolls are searching for it. No, that's just what it's called, I guess.
Right.
Bloober?
Well.
Awesome.
They made a few games before this one I'm going to mention, but they did make a game called Double Bloob for Nintendo DSiWare.
Oh, Double Bloob. That's
So they have an auspicious beginning. Well, they made these games called Layers of Fear, and then the Blair Witch game, and then the Medium just a couple years ago, in 2021. I mean, and people didn't like really any of those, so I'm glad they got that sort of figured out in a way.
I've been interested in the Silent Hill 2 remake, but like a lot of other remakes, that interest doesn't really last more than 30 to 90 seconds before I realize, oh, I'm not going to buy this. RE4 was the exception.
Yeah, I think RE4 had enough twists and improvements, really, to make that stand on its own. When, again, people were kind of iffy about it. It's like, well, first one's still pretty good. Original one, I mean.
That's the thing, is I remember playing it thinking, yeah, this is pretty good. But then once I finished it, the next day I was like, when's that RE4 remake coming? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I guess that was it. Okay. Yeah, we didn't really need that, did we?
So, again, I don't have the clearest memories of Silent Hill 2 from myself, so I don't really have much to go on, but from what I do remember, it does stick pretty close to everything, and I think even in many cases the dialogue is exactly the same. There's some added parts of dialogue, but certain cutscenes are pretty much the same lines.
Cool.
From the original, just better acted, thank God. Yeah. And everybody looks like distinct human beings instead of the same face painted on the same person. So that's good too.
That's good is debatable, because my main beef with video game remakes is that they are taking an experience you had when you were younger that was composed of several different abstract layers and then zooming in on and amplifying every little thing so that there's no mystery left. You know what I mean? It's like if somebody could go into your brain and pull out a dream or a childhood memory that you have and up-res it and make everything look better and then show it to you, you're like, but that's not what I remember. That's not yeah, that's a better, quote unquote, better looking version of the thing, but it doesn't enhance the thing in any way. I love John Carpenter's The Thing.
We're not talking about dreams, though. We're talking about video games. And
no, but I'm talking about memories. And my memories of a game, I like them the way they are. I don't need your new take on them, is what I'm saying.
We're not talking about memories either. We're talking about video games. I like video game remakes. I don't think there's any sacred cows in video games. When you look at the fact that Nintendo themselves were ready to remake or redress Super Mario Brothers 8 years after the original came out.
Oh, non-story driven remakes are fine. I don't care about remaking a platformer. That's fine. That's fun. Those do need to be updated every so often.
Everything is fair game as far as I'm concerned.
I think when you're talking about remakes, you can't not talk about memories. I mean, I know part of your market is people who never played the original who want to know what the fuss is about. That's fine. But I am personally not a person who needs an updated take on an old memory I have.
Why even take it from that tack? Why take it from the tack that, they're just updating your memory? No, they want to represent the game that you might have liked before and also give it, a new chance with younger people, especially, who aren't going to appreciate the original version to begin with.
I get that. That's fine. So, I mean, there's a lot of games that are kind of unplayable now that have good remakes, and I think that makes sense. I'm I think OG DQ3 is fine, and I'm still excited for this remake because it's a.
So where's the difference there?
I think it's because I had a more. I think it just has to do with how personal the story of the game is getting, and all of these big name remakes have been very like Silent Hill 2 is a notoriously dramatic story, and I kind of liked it the way it was. RE4 it didn't matter so much because it's just an action game with a throwaway action movie story. DQ3, the storytelling in the old Dragon Quest especially is more minimal, so I don't think it has that much of an impact. I'm fine with the visual update. I think it's how emotionally impactful was the original game. Right. That's how much I don't need a remake, is what it is.
So in other words, right. So in other words, it's not black and white.
No, it's not.
And you can recognize that. But meanwhile, I see these people who always complain like, oh, they don't even need to do a remake. Why are they even bothering? It's such bullshit. Why are they even doing it? And it's like, you take that attitude and it's only serving yourself. Meanwhile, the people making the video game are trying to make it for everybody, ostensibly, or the widest possible audience. And it's just like, if you just complain about it and think that the original only belongs to you and your memory, it's like, that's such a self-serving way that doesn't really align with reality in any way, shape, or form. And so I think, like, for these people who say that sort of thing and come at it from this self-serving angle where it's like, this game was so special to me and my memories and everything, I'm just like, well, it's been disproven over and over. Like, it doesn't even matter.
Well, yes and no. I think that you're talking about games, and if we're thinking about games as works of art, those can be very personal. And I'm saying it is fine, and in fact, I do it most of the time, to think that a remake, for me personally, is unnecessary and maybe even silly, while also recognizing that, yes, there are people who are going to enjoy this and they should enjoy it. That's fine.
Okay,
but my personal knee-jerk reaction to Silent Hill 2 is lol, no, why?
Right, but at least you are grounded in some respects. Like,
more or less.
You and I are I think we're mostly aligned there. I was just saying, people who, the general sorts of internet voices that are just kind of like on a one-way street and will not leave and will not diverge and will not consider anybody other than themselves. I just feel like you're not getting it. But yes, you and I are aligned, and it's not black and white, and you will have mixed feelings based on the context. Or not mixed, but I mean, you will have different feelings depending on the context of where the thing came from. But
briefly going back to RE for a second, I thought that like the RE2 remake is a good example of a game that benefited from that, because Resident Evil games, I think probably until 7, maybe even 7 onward, Resident Evil stories have always just been action movie poo-poo. There's not a lot redeeming about Resident Evil stories. You're playing it because it's survival horror, in some cases survival horror action, and in both ways they're great. And those remakes I think are fine. I'm even one of the few people who will go to bat for the RE3 remake. I thought it was great. Go eat shit, everybody else.
No, I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, but then it's because I know what those games are to me. They're fun shoot zombie games. Silent Hill 2 was a more personal psychological experience, and so I don't want that to be touched up and upresed and remodeled, because that experience to me is different from shooting zombies, and it's not one that I need to be repackaged. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like,
But for me, coming as someone who was not especially touched by Silent Hill 2 back then, I think that they did do a good job of revisiting a lot of that, not just the artwork, but again, the story itself, keeping the mystery intact, maybe even fleshing out some mystery just based on the fact that, it's a free roaming camera and you can look around anywhere, and maybe they'll hide some new things and stuff. And again, you have the original directors or some original people from Konami sort of overseeing it the whole time and making sure that things were hopefully done to spec, I guess. And they sort of, I think, enhance a lot of the dramatic stuff. Like just sort of what the nature of Silent Hill is and how it affects the other characters who aren't James, and what they go through. I think you kind of get a better sense of that. But on the same tack, I'll go back to my original point, which is that it feels a little bit different than the Japanese original does. And I can't fully say why, because I'm not in tune enough with my brain. Maybe I need more mind-enhancing drugs or something. But there's something there that will feel different from the original no matter what, unless they, had gone completely insane with wanting to reproduce it every last detail, and that includes like the UI elements and what that feels like and everything. But
sure,
for a developer that was basically a laughing stock up until this point, I think they did a pretty darn good job.
All right, great. Before, at the risk of sounding like a complete lunatic, I do get excited for remakes of old RPGs, because RPGs to me are, like, especially if we're talking text-based, like a text-based RPG can be remade 1,000 times, and if I like the original, I will always enjoy the remake or the remaster or whatever. I'm excited for the Suikoden remasters coming out next year. Obviously, DQ3 later this month. But then, it's other stuff, and Metal Gear Solid Delta is another good example of this. Like, especially if you're reusing the old voices, like I don't need this.
Yeah.
I saw this movie already. Like, I don't need to see the 4K, print that you found in a warehouse, which is basically what I think of this as. Like, there's nothing.
Delta's a little bit weirder.
Yeah.
Because, well, like I said, in the Silent Hill 2, they keep a lot of the same dialogue. It's just, new actors and everything.
Lost.
And yeah. But yeah, in Delta, it's just like the same old recordings, just inserted into this new looking thing, while also they apparently, they give you camera options. They have like the classic camera where it will look and play the most like Snake Eater originally did, but also more of a free moving camera and things like that. But it is apparently supposed to not stray that far from the original version.
Yeah.
And in that, that might not work. Again, shades of gray here, and it's not black and white. That might not work for people like you and me who played the original and have a more fresh memory of it. But, for the younger person who wants their new video game to look and feel like a new video game, but might be interested in this, then they'll get a good experience out of it. I assume. Maybe it's not out yet, but I think it's a little bit similar to the Silent Hill 2 thing, where they're not trying to stray too far from the original. Again, as opposed to Resident Evil 4, which is straying from it while not losing sight of it, I guess.
I think you've helped me really kind of put a finger on where I stand with remakes, because I'm only now realizing, like, remakes of games that are like movies are the ones that I don't need. Like, if a game is presented, like Silent Hill 2 or MGS3.
Just say games, like Final Fantasy 7.
What do you mean?
Well, FF7 is very movie-like, the remakes, I mean.
I hadn't even thought. Well, yeah. No, I mean remakes of games that themselves originally tried to have more cinematic elements.
Yes.
Those are the ones that I don't need remade. I think of those the exact same way I think of movie remakes. It's like, why do we need a RoboCop remake when we had a good RoboCop in the 80s? That's how I feel about that. But then there's games not games as distraction, but games as like visceral experiences, like your Resident Evils where you're shooting zombos. Those are remake those as much as you want. I don't care. Stuff that is supposed to be affecting a cinematic vibe, I don't need redone because it's been done. But stuff for me.
Right.
But then, stuff that is just something that feels like a video game. Sure. I like the battles and numbers and systems of DQ3. Remake that 100 times. For me, it's about what is the game trying to convey?
And DQ3 isn't necessarily trying to be up to a modern graphical standard. Like, it is still a sprite-based sort of more or less game with a cartoony look to it. Much like the previous remake and the other previous versions and the original version of DQ3.
Yes.
Like, it is Dragon Quest. We know that. Maybe if the remake of 3 looked like 11, then sure, maybe we might feel differently. But
That's right. I'm excited. And I'm also happy because you know how in was it the mid 2000s when the Dragon Quest copyright lapsed and they were allowed to use that name outside of Japan again. The trademark on the slogan has Dairy Queen's slogan has lapsed, so they're finally allowed to advertise with "Meet me at the DQ."
Yes, indeed.
Also, Dennis the Menace will be promoting the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. So if anybody wants to hook up, get a Mr. Misty or a Dilly Bar, maybe an Oreo Blizzard, meet me at the DQ.
And their new mascot, Brazier Crane.
Dear God, my clothes!
Hello, episode title. You know the one. Meet me on Route 19 across from the Donut Connection, I think it is.
Sure, Alex.
Oh, man.
Sure. Well, Dragon Quest III, that's going to be out, I think, by the time this public version of the show is out.
That's right.
Boy, oh boy. Yep.
I'm going to be streaming it day one.
Yep.
The new version of a game called Dragon Quest.
Hey, that's the one.
Simple, to the point. Yeah. And then soon after that, the remakes of 1 and 2.
Also, yeah.
Will you feel as jazzed?
I don't think so. Well, maybe. I mean, DQ2 is a game that hasn't really been remade. Well, yeah, 1 and 2 haven't really been remade, I guess. We're not counting the mobile ports, right? Since the Super Famicom, really? Like the last good remake of it? Which I guess is the same as 3, but I play 3 so much. You could count the mobile
ports, which turned into the Switch ports.
Those are awful. They're not.
Yeah.
I mean, the only upside to those is the updated localizations, which are great. But yeah, the art style, the graphics are just, they're not. And the weird screen tearing that just is everywhere in those versions on the Switch is like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, I'm glad they're sort of correcting course there. And or perhaps just retconning those old ports. And yeah, let's get the good stuff going. Let's get Art Dink in here and give us some good HD 2D.
Well, like the FF Pixel remasters ended up being a pretty good example of remakes that I enjoyed because it's text-based RPGs.
Yeah,
all those characters,
but
all those characters' voices are already in my head, and I can bring those voices back out when I read the script in whatever engine it's in. I don't know. There's something about games that are trying to be movies or have voiced dialogue to me that it makes it difficult for them to be remade for me.
Yeah, the Metal Gear voice thing is so weird. Why not just go all the way?
What do you mean?
Why stop short? Well, why not go all the way and just get new voices, new actors, or whatever?
I think it's because David Hayter is so echoic as Snake that you can't recast Snake. He's the guy.
Well, at least rewrite.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I guess I don't know what I want to say. I'm making shit up anyway. I'm not being all that realistic. I'm just saying, like, why stop short at the voices? Like, why not just?
I think. Well, I know. I think it does.
Why not piss people off to the full extent?
I think it does come down to the fact that they know how closely David Hayter is tied to this character. Yeah. They know how people felt when he was replaced with Kiefer Sutherland. I think they knew that if they did not use David Hayter's recording, then people were going to not buy the game. And I think
okay, well, what about Japanese as well? You'd say the same about Akio Otsuka?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I think so. But the thing is, you can't, even if you did want to re-record and like maybe you keep David and you recast other people, you can't really do that either because he can't do that voice anymore. Like David Hayter could barely do that voice in MGS4. Good thing Snake's old now because this is just kind of how it sounds. He can't do that anymore. It's painful for him to do that voice.
Sounds like he didn't practice enough.
Oh, but he practiced too much. He's like Carlin. I've been saying this for years.
I remember Steve Smith, who played Red Green with that raspy voice.
Sure.
Steve Smith said once it was just he did it so much it was just as easy as breathing. Why couldn't David Hayter pull it off? Huh?
What's Red Green?
Red Green is the Canadian sketch comedy show.
Oh, right. Okay.
The handyman in the forest, basically.
That's one of my blind spots.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, one of my very few Canadian cultural blind spots. Look, you want to talk about Four on the Floor? I'm there. I don't know what Red Green is.
The Possum Lodge? Never watch enough PBS, I guess. Okay, fine.
No, sorry.
Yeah. So, well, I get it. I get the Metal Gear thing. It was just kind of, I was being half joking, just being like, why not? Why not just do it all the way? Anyway. Yes, Dragon Quest.
Okay. You have my hypothesis on why they aren't going all the way, because they can't get rid of David Hayter. They can't re-record him, and they can't get rid of him. So why not just keep everything you have?
Oh, we can get rid of him.
What? Oh, no. Could you not?
All I need is a harpoon gun.
You can't kill Snake that easily.
And then one of these years, they're going to make a Metal Gear movie.
Cool.
Right? Wasn't
awesome.
Oscar Isaac supposed to be Snake?
Whatever. Man.
Last we heard.
Great. Yeah. Outstanding.
Yeah.
I actually, the interview that I'm going to be doing for the bar on Monday, one of the questions is who's the game creator that you kind of admire or that you like the most? And I thought about it for a while, and I eventually settled on Yoshi P. And I realized because he's good at what he does. He's good at producing and directing. He knows what makes games, or at least 14. He knows what makes it fun for players. And he's good. He's also, at the same time, he's good at being the front-facing, face of the team when he deals with fans. And he does live streams and he does interviews and stuff all the time. And thinking about that made me realize, oh yeah, I kind of don't have the patience for Hideo Kojima, Yoko Taro horse shit. Get out of here with your Daft Punk bullshit. I know you think you're really cool because you make video games that people like, but could you be a little human? Could you try to be a relatable human being? I realize that's why I like Yoshi P a lot, is because he's just a fun-loving guy who wants other people to have fun. And everyone else is just way too up their own ass.
Yeah, I fully agree. He brings a dad energy that those other guys just never really ever got.
And I
would say the same about a lot of those Capcom guys, Nagoshi, Suda. Yeah.
I think a lot of that comes from Yoshi P having to maintain a level of honesty with the MMO crowd, because he does have to give regular addresses where he's like, here are some issues with the patch. We're working on this. We're doing this. He's required to be upfront and honest every month. And it's reassuring to see someone do that instead of just saying cryptic nothingness a couple times a year before putting out a game that's not for me.
That's also a really good point. With these live games, online games, you can't afford to not be honest. And you can't just completely not acknowledge what's going on. You can make some bullshit statements and you can piss people off either way, but generally, if you're talking about a game that's gonna keep going forever, you gotta talk about the roadmap.
The roadmap is great, and the fact that he's been very candid about third-party tools has been great. I posted this video in the FF14 channel on our Discord. Because when I was thinking about using third-party tools, I wanted to confirm that it was quote-unquote okay, even though they're explicitly banned by the terms of service. And I found a live letter event where Yoshi P is speaking very candidly about third-party tools. And he says, well, I shouldn't say this, but it's kind of a gray area because, there's a tool that it counts up all the damage that you do in a battle. It's basically a virtual calculator that accesses those numbers and then adds them up. So if you have a calculator on your desk, is that a third-party tool? Are we going to ban calculators now? What if you have a gaming mouse with extra buttons on it? Is that a third-party tool? I put my battle damage in Excel. Is Excel now a third-party tool? His argument is look, if we tried to define this, it would never stop. So we're just never going to check, and we're going to tell you not to do it. End of story. I'm Alex for numbers.
And then we have some other guy make some single-player game with a bunch of deep themes in it. And he goes on camera and makes, I don't know, fucking kung fu moves in the camera. Oh, I'm wacky, aren't I?
What game are we talking about?
I was thinking of a melange of different people in games.
Okay.
It could be anything, yeah. Some of the guys we mentioned.
I think there is definitely a kind of pressure on Japanese devs to try to project a fun, quirky, hey, look at me, look at my game vibe.
Well, there used to be, for sure, I think.
You talking about Takufuji?
Yoko Taro, Takufuji, Suda are kind of a different breed now, an older, different breed. There doesn't seem to be as much room for those guys anymore. other than themselves, taking up their own space and sort of being still revered in that way. But
there's definitely a few dozen auteurs, so to speak, who are, I don't know, they've got a very self-important image of what they are and what they do, and or maybe even what video games are and do, which I think is a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's at the end of the day, I want to have a nice experience. I want to have fun. I want to play something that's fun, and I don't want to have to sit here worshiping you as, the genius who made Blorbo 3 or whatever.
It was double bloob.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and you contrast that with a lot of the stuff on this side of the country. Like, I have no idea who made Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh.
I know it's a million different people, but it's not like the director or creative director or whoever they want to make the guy who made it. He's not stepping into any sort of limelight. By design, because Rockstar sucks in that manner, but
yeah.
Still, like, that doesn't happen here. There's very few personalities. There's some, and they're all friends with Kojima, and they all are annoying.
The Koj. Oh, yeah. Are we going to talk about Metaphor? Because I think I'm almost done with the demo.
Sure. I've not really played more than 5 minutes of that demo.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I have stuff to do.
I have to be at the end of the demo because I've been playing for like 8 hours. I'm very slow. And it's still going. But when it started, I guess I didn't understand what it was when I started the demo because I got about an hour in and I was talking to a friend about it. And he's like, yeah, it's good. It looks good. It's a Persona game, so it's going to do XYZ pretty well. And I'm like, what do you mean it's a Persona game? You mean like the graphical engine or... And then I play a few more minutes and I get to the part where you get your personas and I'm like, oh yeah, it's just, and you're on a timer. Oh, okay. I'm less interested in this than I thought I was.
Yeah.
I like the fact that your personas it's basically a job system this time, where you can have people with multiple or, on the field at the same time. But the time crunch shit, again, I'm not a fan of. Even the story.
Oh, really?
The story started to lose me a little bit because it started out like it was hitting the FFT center of my brain where it was like political intrigue and an assassination and, some cool, relatable, realistic shit happening in a fantasy kingdom. But then it just turns into more evil villain magic shit that I kind of am tired of in many RPGs. And I was like, well, I was kind of hoping this would be a more down to earth. I don't want to say realistic, but like plausible things happening. And instead it's just everything that happens is magic. This is magic. This dramatic thing happened because of magic. And that's that's the least satisfying thing to me in an RPG is, oh, this event happened because magic. Like I like these worlds to have magic in them, and
turns out Atlas was making their own classic throwback RPG this whole time.
I guess you'd think I would like that.
To do a video on that now.
Oh no, I'm done doing videos on why I don't like this video game. Hey everyone, I love FF6. I'll do that. I have been thinking
about a lot of magic peppered in that game. I know it's not to the extent where it's like, oh, that's the explanation for everything, but
kind of.
The plot.
It does, but also like when shit happens, it's like, oh, Kefka poisoned an entire kingdom by dumping poison in the river. That's pretty good. That's a realistic thing that could happen in any world. He didn't cast poison on the river.
No, right.
he didn't cast bio over the castle, which would be dumb, which would be very stupid. Yeah. And that's kind of how I feel about Metaphor. And like, I don't hate it for that. I'm just trying to reacclimate myself to I'm readjusting my expectations. And I'm going through it like, okay, now I know what your deal is. I can try to be a little more lenient with it. And that being said, I don't hate it. There's a lot to it that I do like. I just don't know if I want to buy the whole thing because, again, one of the questions that the dude is going to interview me on Monday is, what's the most expensive game in the bar? And my answer for that is, I don't know. Any Japanese game I had to buy new, like FF7 Remake, any Atlas game day one is 10,000 yen over here. It's fucking robbery. And I know that, games, a lot of people are saying, well, no, games cost what they should, or games should cost more. And yeah, but also relatively, Atlas games are 2,000 to 3,000 yen more than other publishers' games. It's a bit much.
They went the old Dragon Quest route.
Yeah, well, I mean, even is DQ even that much? Well, the DQ3 remake's not that much. It's like 8,000, I think.
Okay.
Even the Suikoden remasters are 7,000.
Sure, but what do you think Dragon Quest 12 would cost?
Yeah, it's probably going to be 9,000. But like, FF7 remake was 9,000. I did begrudgingly buy that for the bar, even though I kind of wasn't enthused about it. But like, I know people are going to want to play it, so we gotta.
Don't you also have to adjust your eyes to play Metaphor? Wasn't it giving you your camera trouble?
There were several. Yeah, there were two issues at play. One, I somehow had VSync turned off, and it was basically anytime I moved the camera, it was moving it at about 4 to 5 FPS. Which fucked my eyes.
Screen tearing in a second.
Yeah. And on top of that, I was playing it on the living room couch, which we have confirmed I can't really play 3D games on because I'm sitting. You've seen that couch. It's just far enough from the TV that it's a strain on my eyes. It's a terrible strain on the animator's hands. If I have to play a 3D game from that, like I can do it. Like I'm looking at you right now. I'm about 1.5 feet away from a 40-inch monitor. Yes, that very face. I can do FF14 Savage content here. I played FF14 yesterday for 4 hours to clear the fight, and we did eventually. And at the end of the 4 hours, I was like, my eyes are a little bit tired. Whereas playing Metaphor in the living room for 20 minutes is like, I have a headache and have to lie down. It's very different.
All right.
So I think what that means is if I'm going to play Metaphor, it has to be here in my office, which means the bigger problem is I need to find a way to play games comfortably in my living room. I need to either move the sofa closer to the TV or get a bigger TV or something because I want to be able to enjoy games in the living room, and I can't really if they're 3D.
You could get a nice beanbag chair and sit it in front of the TV.
That's not a bad idea. But wait, it's also not a good idea.
Well, that's all I got.
Alex, are you a married man or are you in a relationship?
We need to take a break because I got to pee, and then we're going to come back for segment 3.
But hey, what about the Romancing Saga 2 remake? I played that.
You didn't add it to the Google Doc.
I'm just kidding.
Well, no, talk about it while I pee. It's all yours.
There's too many games.
Okay. Drive faster, game. Game is gaining. Folks, we're back. It's No More Whoppers. I'm Alex. This over here in the cardigan is Ray. It's getting chilly out there.
It's just my Mario shirt.
Oh, right. I guess that's true.
Look, Mario.
It's the guy from
He's saying hello.
It's the guy from Mario Party. Great.
How's it going?
Good. I forgot to mention, I might have mentioned this last episode, but we got a visit from Mike Wasson to the bar. That was very fun.
Mm-hmm.
We went out for shaved ice, and we had some delicious meals. We went to Komeda, which was infested by ants.
Discord regular Mike.
Yes, Mike the Hitman Wasson, as he is commonly known.
Yeah.
And the bar's last public night, I got a visit from my new Blue Sky pal, Marcy, who is I believe a storyboard artist who worked on Star Trek Lower Decks, which I will see eventually if I'm now watching every Star Trek in order.
Wow, the types of people that show up.
Yes, I was
now dead critical hit.
That's right. Very cool to meet her. She also showed up for my Deadly Premonition streams because she's a big fan of that one. Which, oh boy, that's a good example of a game that I kind of wish I could just watch the cutscenes and not have to play the quote unquote gameplay parts of it. Because I really like watching these cutscenes and characters, and everything else not so much.
Okay.
It's and honestly, it's mostly the driving. It's having to drive around this town without an actual map I can zoom out of. Like I have to have a map open on my second monitor to get around this goddamn town.
Yeah, that's kind of what that game is. It's not it's not up to spec.
Yeah. But it's kind of like, and I've often had this conversation with friends, but like things like this, or even, Metal Gear games, or even most recently, Stranger of Paradise. We've talked about this. How ironic are they being when they make these?
Yeah.
How do they know that this is like batch? Is that the point that it's batshit, or is this ironic? How genuine are you being? And I feel like every scene in Deadly Premonition is like an amateur production of a Twin Peaks fanfic where like you found some, hey, I know 10 or 11 people who are free on campus this weekend who can help us shoot my my Twin Peaks fanfic. And that's what the game feels like. And I don't know if that's intentional. How could it be intentional? But if it's not intentional, how do you not know that this is bonkers?
A lot of things get lost when it's filtered through that language and or cultural barrier.
I was about to say, I think it's the language/culture filter that, yeah, because like even...
How else can you explain it?
Yeah, because like even...
Both ways, eat too. Like,
even the guy who runs the store is like, he's like a 50s greaser with a leather jacket and a pompadour, but he sounds like a California surfer bro. Like, those are not the same character archetype. You're mixing and matching archetypes. Like, why does he sound like this? It's so weird.
In some ways, though, you kind of have to appreciate a game that has you questioning that. Like, where is the irony?
Yeah.
Where is the seriousness? And, there's another game coming out. Also, I found out about on our Discord.
Oh.
Called Showa American Story, a game about an alternate history America slathered in Japanese culture, basically taken over by Japan.
That's just the Man in the High Castle.
With a bunch of just kooky stuff in it, developed by Chinese people.
Cool. Oh, boy.
And it's kind of like if I were to say in the 90s, it's like Yakuza on steroids.
Oh, boy. Cool.
You should check out that trailer. Go to the Discord there and look at that trailer, and you'll see what I mean. It's one of those kooky games, much in the same way as Deadly Premonition, but you can absolutely see it is not being serious. It is ironic. It is going after something very obvious, but still looks cool.
All right, I'll take your word.
Yeah, I'll keep my eye on it.
Eye on Springfield.
I'll poke my eye out.
No,
God.
I think it is important to have like a grasp on that cultural/linguistic difference if you're dealing with something from another place. And I think that's why people like Deadly Premonition so much, is because it's like, I don't know if they realize why they like it, but I think this is what a Japanese person thinks Twin Peaks is or was trying to be. And in some ways he's right, and in some ways he's very, very wrong. And that's what makes it funny to people.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I'm trying to take that point of view as I very slowly design my own games. I've started sketching out characters and a story for a visual novel. I've been working on an RPG story for a couple of years. But those are all, and they're both set in Japan, which is saying a lot about me, maybe. They're both set.
What a dork!
What a fucking weeb! They're both set in Japan, but I feel like I've been here long enough that I can include most of these elements. I think 18 years is enough to have a grasp of the basic grasp of a culture, and not, hey, I watched anime for a while, so I think I can make my own.
Yeah,
because with the RPG, more important is not the setting is only Japan because it's based on a Japanese folktale that is kind of unique to Japan. And the other one is based in Nagoya because I wanted a cheap way to make backgrounds. And I'm like, I can just take photos.
Yeah.
And I could just, pixelate them a little bit.
Walk down the block.
Exactly. But, there is some cultural stuff that comes into play because the visual novel is sort of set in an office, and I've never worked in a Japanese office, so I'm going to have to be asking my friends, like, hey, is this common? Like some of the real minutia. Like,
Can I visit your office?
Oh, that'd be great. Some stuff I know, but other stuff I got to be like, hey, what time, like, are you allowed to go outside for smoke breaks? How long are you allowed to go out for? What time do you eat lunch usually? How long are you allowed to be out? That kind of stuff. But it's just something to be mindful of. And I think the fact that a lot of Japanese games are not mindful of it, perhaps by design, is what makes them endearing in that way, whether or not the developers intended it.
And that's what gave us Deadly Premonition.
DP!
All right.
Great. I'm going to stream it every morning. I call it Wake Up DP.
Okay.
We have. Did you know? Oh God.
I didn't. What?
Turn into your band leader there. Did you know that we have voicemails? Did you know
Sorry, you're right.
Did you?
Yes, I did know.
Pointing at you. Did you know we have voicemails and that you can call us at 805-NMW-TALK, also known as 805-669-8255?
805-NMW-TALK is the number to call.
All right, we've got 6 calls from 4 people. Here we go.
Oh, boy. What happened?
Here's the first one. We're going to find out what happened. Here we go.
Hello, fellas. Hi, Ray. Hi, Alex. It's Bible from Ohio. And I think everyone who listens to No More Lumpers wants to know what would happen if Lance Lord met video game Hiwou Hauser. You know what to do.
Thanks for calling in, Michael. Who's Lance Lord?
This might be references to old episodes.
Oh, right. Because I know we did a Hiwou Hauser bit. You did a Hiwou Hauser for a while there.
Sure. Yes.
Who's Lance Lord?
Probably a reference to a thing we don't remember.
All right. Hey, thanks, Michael.
That's great. Yep.
The next one here. Oh, boy. Let's
We're
listen.
on episode 252.
The new 52. Here we go.
Hey, this is Carl from Philly.
Hold up. Yeah, hang on. Never mind.
Sounds good.
Here we go.
Hey, this is Carl from Philly. I'm driving. Last 7 cars I passed, no license plate on the front, no option to even, no holders, no anything. And there's an 8th car, there's a 9th car, there's a 10th car passing me. Same thing. No license plate on the front. 11th car, 12th car, bye.
Thank you, Carl, for the update. Look, we know it's Smoo. We know it's you.
Wow, 10 cars.
That's 10 cars.
Wow, chimney Christmas.
MST3K deep cut. Thank you. Fine, Carl. Thank you, Carl, for the update. I don't know. I kind of suspect this one because I didn't hear any noise at all, unless that vehicle of yours is incredibly soundproof. I doubt that you were on the highway.
Yeah, I think. Well, let's not dance around it. I think he's full of shit.
What?
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, that's the last we're hearing from him.
Hey, it's Carl from Philly. 56. 57. Oh, shit! That one has an Eagles vanity plate on the front.
Great. Thank you, Carl, for the update. And that's the last we're going to hear from Carl.
Hey, it's Smoo from Pittsburgh.
Oh, Smoo!
The end of last episode, Alex mentioned hotbot.com. This isn't really an over-nerd. It's just really, really cringy. So I was younger, wanted to check out that new website, maybe 14. My parents are in the room watching TV. Our family computer's in the room. And I go to check out that new search engine at hotbox.com. Needless to say, hotbox.com, not a search engine. And then I'm sitting there clicking out of windows, and you know that age. Pop-ups are coming up, and I'm trying to close out. It is very cringy. Bye.
Outstanding, Smoo. And I remember him telling me that story when we were 14, so it was very nice to hear it eternally told and retold, like Soul Calibur.
Some genuine tales out of school there.
Oh, great. Thank you, Smoo. Just the best. All right.
Is that also in the car?
It's very possible. He's a very busy guy. We got one from Tim here. I'm going to play this.
Hey guys, it's Tim. Unfortunately, not the Tim from Circus Capers.
Damn it!
I apologize for any background noise, but it is my birthday, and I am calling you live from the Eataly in New York City with some snack food copy. It's for a type of chocolate cookie, and I apologize, Alex. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this. I think it's cantuccini, but if I may. With an undefined origin, cantuccino biscuit is very popular in our country and worldwide too. Prepared with simple and genuine ingredients, I am saying that as they have spelled it, slowly baked, cutted, and again mildly toasted gives a great amount of taste and sensation. Cantuccino fully represents our landscape, simple, natural, rich in history and poetry. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoy that as much as I did, and frankly, it makes me intimidated to try these cookies. Bye.
Eat them all, coward. Thank you, Tim. Happy birthday. So this is 40, huh? All right. I'd like to try them. Hang on. The speech to texts won't give me a clear spelling of what they are. It thinks you said country chini, which I know you did not say. Cappuccino?
Well, I can go to Eataly and check.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Look it up on Eataly. Oh man.
Oh, I meant in the actual store.
Oh no. Go
now.
They
have an online inventory.
I'll talk to the audience. You go now.
I think they're closed.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, recently closed. It closed at 11. It's 11:15 right now. Sorry.
Oh, I think I like closed for good.
Shouldn't have been ranting about fucking remakes of video games all the time.
Shouldn't have got my hopes up. All right. Well, Tim, please try them. Please call back. Do not call with a mouthful of cookies, but wait until after you have finished the entire package.
Okay, hold on. Can you attempt that name again?
Country Chini. Hang on. Can we? Let's.
Hey guys, and I am calling you live with some snack chocolate cookie, and I apologize, Alex. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this. I think it's Cantuccini.
Preppuccini? I have no idea. I can't. It's. I mean, the phone. The call itself is condensed, not unlike a delicious milk, and I can't make out what is being said. Again, not unlike a delicious milk.
I see Cantucci.
It might be Cantucci. All right, Tim, we're going to need a photo. Then we're going to need a photo of you eating them. Then we're going to need a verbal review when you call in next time. Thank you very much. We have one more call.
Yeah.
Someone's exceeding the time limit, but they don't even care anymore.
Hey, no more loppers, Ray and Alex. This is Jake, also known as Neo Jake. I called once a couple of months ago. Alex, I cannot believe that you're closing down Critical Hit. I've never been to Japan myself, but I've been listening since before you even opened it, when you were talking about opening Critical Hit. And it's just pretty amazing just seeing how times have changed. Funny thing is also, I have family and friends in Japan, and I know nothing about the geography of the country.
That is funny.
And I was trying to suggest to them to go see you there, but none of them have been nearby. None of them were ever near the city that your bar is in, or was in, I should
Cleveland,
say now by this point. And I gotta say, I'm still envious of the whole idea of having a bar or a place like that where you can, like, you know, just go and hang out, maybe have a couple drinks and play games. I just think the whole idea of it is great. And good for you for doing it for as long as you have, as long as you did. It's so awesome. But sorry to hear that it's going the end of an era. And, yeah, keep it up. Good luck in the future with everything else. And have a good one, guys. See ya.
Thanks, Jake, a.k.a. Neo Jake. Yes, the bar is gone. It's for the best. It was driving me crazy. Not unlike calls exceeding 60 seconds. Raymond, you look like you have something to say.
I feel like those last two calls just sound like the guys were walking outside on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Tim's
sit down at a bench.
Well, I thought Tim's call was fine. Tim said he was calling from Italy, and he apologized for the noise. There was no noise at all. That was great.
No, yeah, that was good.
You know, I think that's as good as a phone call in a public place is going to sound.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You know,
must got one of the new iPhones.
You know what? We need someone to call in from a live music event next time. Look, is Taylor Swift still touring? Go to that. Whip out your phone. Call us up. Just leave a short message. Only not during your favorite song. You want to be present for that. You want to enjoy that. No. But you know, what are the throwaways? What are the B-sides? What are the Taylor B-sides? I know they're all good.
Go see some K-pop.
Yes, go see some K-pop.
No K-pop.
Oh,
Jesus.
Sorry.
All right. Is there any more calls?
That's it for call. If you want to get your voice on this show, all you have to do is pick up your telephone. Dial 805. This is an American phone number. I cannot stress this enough. 805 NMW Talk or 805-669-8255. Smooth's got us on speed dial. That's what we used to call contacts in your contact list.
Yes.
Smooth's got us as a contact. I take it.
Move me up on the speed
dial. Wow. That's right. You don't want to get bumped off that speed dial or secretly move to emergency services.
Yeah, right.
Right, yeah.
Hello, Jerome.
Thank you all for calling. I encourage others to call in. We've had a tremendous show here today. I will not be the one to break the peace that we've made here today.
And just in time, I had a wave of tired hit me, so I'm ready to go to bed.
And I've had a wave of, oh my God, it's 4:20. Well, you know what I've got to do.
Oh.
Have a snack and watch Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've started, like, now that I have all of my days free, I've started doing it in the morning where I make oatmeal and coffee and I watch TNG and I call it Trekfast. What do you think?
He calls it Trekfest.
What do you think of that? And then off screen, Paul, what's his name? Who's the band leader? Who's Letterman's guy?
Paul Schaefer.
I was going to say Paul Scheer. No, it's not that.
No.
And yeah, off screen, Paul Schaefer's just repeating Trekfest. He calls it Trekfest. He calls it Trekfest. That's what my big look. I don't have a lot of complaints about Paul Schaefer, but that's my biggest one, is that his only function is to serve as a bald parrot anytime Letterman says something, be it a catchphrase or a punchline. Oh, Trekfest. Oh, he says Trekfest. He calls it Trekfest.
But it's funny.
No, it's not.
He was the best to ever do it.
I don't think so. I just looked like he was.
Man.
I don't know. Looked like he was stalling.
It reminds me of a drop I needed to get a long time ago. Hold on a minute.
What are you guys talking about? Sandwiches? Oh, man, don't get me started on sandwiches. Listen to this. First of all, is there sand in a sandwich? Is it made by a witch? Sandwich? What is the deal?
Dave, Barry, I've been looking all over for you.
Hey, Kramer.
No, Dave, it's me, Paul.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
No, Dave, it's me. Love the idea that you could confuse Paul Schaefer for Michael Richards.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to go. You're a sleepy baby, and I'm a hungry baby. Together, we make two cranky babies.
Let's break down our tent. The Haunted House is on tour again.
That's right.
See you next year. Thanks, everybody. That's No More Whoppers. Yes, next year, Alex.
What? What do you mean?
That's been No More Whoppers. Go to our website, nomorewhoppers.com. You can find links to everything we have there. But first of all, I want to tell you about our No More Whoppers Patreon. Patreon.com/No More Whoppers. That's the best possible way to give us money, I would say.
I also want to stress, if you don't like to say it that way, you can also say Patreon.
Yeah.
Which
not
does
Patron, that's a libation.
That's right, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, anyway, you can give us $1 a month just to be a cool gold subscriber, or $5 a month to be a golder subscriber and get this show a week early, ad-free, and access to all our previous bonus podcast material.
And the current bonus show, which is an extension of this show until we start the next bonus show next year.
I want to go on an Alex type of tangent and say that, if people are feeling unsure of where we're going here with the show, we are working on something.
Yeah.
We just want to get it ready for next year, early next year, So we want to rethink the Patreon a little bit as well. And we will announce all that when we're good and ready. So get off our back.
Bring it in. Rein it in. You got to be nice. You catch more flies with honey.
Just keep listening. We hope to have a really good reason to support us in the near future.
I also want to say, in the meantime, we are, because I had somebody ask me IRL, hey, what's the theme of your current bonus show? I don't understand it. And I'm like, there isn't one. It's an extension of this show. It's basically the Nomowo after show where we just talk more about personal stuff for an hour.
Yeah.
It's called Sassafras. It's the placeholder until we have a themed show. It's going to be the default between shows.
Truth be told, it would have been nice to have communicated that before we started doing it. But
a little bit, yeah.
So it goes.
So it goes.
There's no theme, no art, no nothing. We're doing something even more special for later. Don't worry. Okay. Also on nomorewhoppers.com, you can find an easy link to our Discord server. It's open to everybody. No Patreon stuff is needed. Just hop on in, say hi. I had someone tell me today that they couldn't find it because they were on mobile, and then I realized, Tumblr has a different mobile view.
What?
That blocks out what the site actually looks like.
Oh, we should also mention, if you are a patron, first of all, thank you. Second of all, and you're on iOS, do not do it through the App Store, because there's they hose you for some extra money, and someone has to cover that along the way. So just do it through the site, or if you're on a non-Apple device, even better. Whatever's convenient for you that's not iOS related.
Yeah.
It costs more if you're on Apple. That's the basic gist. If you're on Apple, what am I, my mom?
Yeah, so Tumblr has a different view on mobile, and I just wanted to say also, we're planning on making a new website.
Yeah.
I have to do a lot of work on that.
Oh.
And that will be part of our 2025 activities, hopefully.
Yes.
So get ready for that. Probably on a website backend made by the same psycho who owns Tumblr. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We also have merch, shop.spreadshirt.com/no-more-whoppers to find shirts, buttons, and pins and stickers. Buttons are the pins. You know, they're those pinny buttons.
Yes. Oh, also... Hi. Sorry, folks have been asking me, is there going to be a way to buy the Critical Hit shirts again? That is so far unknown. I would have to discuss it with a couple of people, but it's not impossible.
Just wait till they're vintage.
Just wait till they're vintage, baby.
All right. Are we done interjecting?
Yeah,
over each other?
Yes.
we both did. All right. And, of course, the phone number again.
I love you and respect you.
Oh, thank you.
That's it.
Love you too.
Damn it.
Kiss. 805-NMW Talk is our hotline. You can leave us a voicemail. You can discuss the show topics of recent show topics, not references to things we forgot. Thank you. Love you. And, just keep it brief and funny. Brief means 60 seconds or 90 seconds? What do we say?
60 ideally, but it's a hard 90 and a soft 60.
All right. And if you can hit 30, oh boy, you're our new favorite person.
Oh, love it.
And that's it for the links. Me and Alex are on the internet. We have our own web links. Alex, go ahead.
Find me on pitui.org. That's pitohui.org. That's also where you can find me on Blue Sky. I think that's all that matters because, everything's linked on my site. You can find my Twitch, YouTubes. I put up a new video last week, Battle of the Dens. How come Eiyuden Chronicle ain't as good as the Suikoden games? We're going to find out after this.
Do you think because you put the kanji in the title that it has more exposure in Japan?
See, I wasn't thinking positively. I was thinking the pessimist version of that, which is I put kanji in the title. That's why the algorithm doesn't want to fuck with it.
Well, I was trying to stay positive.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. You are a good friend. My previous video about indie RPGs ended up getting 5,000 or so views in a few weeks. This one seems to have capped at about 600 or whatever it's at now, so I don't think it's going to get taken for a ride.
Not enough people yet loving Suikoden, I think is what it boils down to.
I'm going to repost it and re-promote it when the remasters come out next year, or the remakes or whatever the fuck they are.
Get ready for March.
Yeah.
Anyway, my website is rdbaaa.space. And that's links to everything. But like Alex, I'm mostly on Blue Sky. And it's the same sort of name there. It's all linked. You'll find it. Just go to rdbaa.space. I also have my game company, Bipedal Dog. Bipedal.dog is the website. Try a game. Why don't you? Okay, good.
I would like to plug a charity stream happening next month, I think, probably in December.
All right.
We're going to try to shoot for 300,000 yen for Tell Japan. Raising awareness for mental health and a hotline for folks who need help in Japan who may not speak Japanese. It's a resource I sure wish I had when I was stuck in the sauce. So we're going to play, for sure, Unpacking. I want to play Unpacking because the Unpacking folks came to the bar, and it was very cool to see them. And Unpacking is also sort of a metaphor for new beginnings and organizing yourself, and I think that's a great way to kick off the stream. And I think one of the stream milestones, as decided today with my Twitch chat, is going to be Lost Odyssey on the Xbox 360. So look forward to that. That's right.
Wow.
All done.
Okay, good. It's a little charity event we like to call Alex Boy Tell 'em.
Great.
All right. Well, thanks for being a good sport, Alex.
Anytime.
Everybody else, keep your nose clean. We'll see you next time. Gold subscribers, stick around till after the show. Why stop at the turkey? We show you how to brine the cornbread, the gravy, and every last dinner plate.
Yeah, it's still a pyramid. Yeah, go for it.